So this is what you will be creating in this tutorial. You'll be creating a sign-in screen. You'll also be having a sign-up screen. If you click on this link here, you can enter the data, and on clicking sign up, the data will be saved in your local storage. So for this tutorial, we are using local storage, which you can view from here in application. So I'll just clear the existing data. If you see, once I sign up with a particular set of data, sign up, and it says user created successfully, and the user info is being saved here, right? You can add some other information also. Click on sign up, and that data gets appended to the existing users list inside the local storage. Now let's go to sign in screen. Now let's see the sign in. Once you go to sign in, you can enter the email and enter the password. Click sign in. It authenticates the user against the existing users in our local storage, and it says user is signed in. Now if you enter some wrong value, it will show user not found. So this is what we'll be implementing in this tutorial. In this video, we'll see how to create a login and a sign up page using Next.js 14. And we won't be using any backend for this thing. We'll be using local storage for creating and storing our users and for authenticating the users. So let's get started. We'll start by creating a Next.js project using npx create next app latest. This should create our Next.js project. It's asking for the project name, so we'll give it a name called next login. Would you like to use TypeScript? Yes. Would you like to use ESLint? No. Tailwind? No. SRC directory? Yes. App router? Yes. No. And that will create your Next.js boilerplate template code. So now once you have this thing set up, we'll be looking for some templates for our login page. So I'll just go to a new window, and we can go to material UI, probably material UI React. Right here you can see we have a couple of designs, and we'll just search for some templates, and there you can see a login page here, sign up page. We'll go to source code of this thing and sign up tsx. We'll simply copy the code from here and just do a control-A, and we can use this code actually for our template. Similarly, this should also be having some sign-in code also. So I'll just go to sign in tsx, and we will copy this code also. Okay. Open the project folder from here. I'll go to my directory, workspace, next login. That should open the project in the VS Code. So here I have the project, and I'll just open it from here. Okay, I'm already inside the project folder. As you can see from the package.json file, in order to run this thing, you should do this. So I'll just type in npm run dev. That should start a Next.js project in development mode. So once you have the project here, just move this to a separate tab. Okay, and we can load localhost 3000. Once it gets compiled and up and running, you should be able to see the Next.js project here. Just to confirm, we are using Next 14 here. As you can see from here, Next is 14.2.5. Okay, so we'll be using app routers in this project, right? So by default, as you can see here, this page gets loaded. Now this page is which page? If you go to SRC, there you have app. Inside app, we have a page and a layout. This page is the thing that is getting rendered here, right? So I'll just keep this thing as it is, and for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be creating two separate pages. Inside app, we can have something called login, and inside login we can have page.tsx for login, and a layout also, layout.tsx for login. Okay, so once you have this thing, you can simply go to this layout here and copy this thing. So we'll be requiring this thing. This is the layout structure. So I'll just copy this thing, go to my login layout and paste this thing here. Now if you see here, we just see what is required. We'll remove some stuff that are not really required. So here metadata and all we are using, you don't need metadata actually here, so I'll just remove this thing for the time being. This and this I'm removing. Okay, and this whole imports are not needed. Last name is fine. Inside here we can define another page, or we can simply go to, and if you go inside the page, now this is where the page gets rendered inside the children here inside this body, and that page HTML code will come in from page.tsx. so I'll just go to the login template from here. This is the sign up template. Okay, we'll go to the sign in template. I just copy this thing, I paste it here. There we have a login template. Now here the designs that are being used, it's of Material UI, so for that we need to install Material UI. So what I'll do is I'll just stop this thing, npm install @MUI. Right, so using npm install MUI Material, and these are the supported libs that are required. And also along with this we'll be requiring @MUI /icons -material or Material UI icons. So now once this is installed, this issues should get resolved. And from here also we don't require everything. We're requiring theme provider for this thing for the time being. I'll just remove this thing. It's also removed. Right, and this portion is not required, not the whole thing. This is not required. We won't be requiring this too. I'll remove this also. And the typography thing, I'll remove this also. The Material UI stuffs have been installed. The dependency has been resolved. And I'll just convert this thing into arrow functions. Const sign in. Right, and export default sign in. That should give you this template. Okay, and what else? Rest I think. Okay, I'll remove this thing also. The rest of the designs are fine, I believe. This is also not required. Just removing the extra stuff that we don't really require at the moment. And with this thing, I just save everything. It's already saved, so I'll just try running the project. npm run dev, and we'll try to navigate to the login route and see what we get. Okay, so here you see on this route you're able to see this particular page. Similarly, you can create a sign up page also. Now, okay, so a small issue is here, like this portion. So we'll add a style also to this thing. So I'll just add a style called page.module.css, and inside we'll add a class called container, which will be having a height. I think this, in order to correct this thing, I think it's having some margin somewhere. Just check. What's the margin being used? Okay, so this. Okay, this thing is using. Okay, this has a margin of 64. So, oh yeah, fine. So we'll do one thing. We'll set the height to calc function 100 vh minus 64 px, and we need to use this container style inside. We just go here, and add the style here on the container. Class name will be equal to style. Style we can define like this, and this we can import here. The style import styles from dot slash page module dot css, right? And just save this thing, and if you see now, that issue got resolved. Okay, so that's how you can add a style to this template also, right? So let's just copy the sign up one also. I'll just go to this template, sign up template, and I'll just copy the sign up portion. Go to my app, create a folder called sign up. Inside I'll just add page.tsx, layout.tsx, and one page.module.css, right? And inside the page.tsx, I'll just paste this function. Let's just move this a bit here. Okay. Now I'll just remove the unwanted stuff. See, so this is not required at the moment. We can make this an arrow function. Const sign, right? Theme provider is not required at the moment. I'll just remove the theme provider also. This can also be removed. Typography also we don't need at the moment. Right. That also went away. And go down, you can see there are some errors. I'll just remove this portion also. This is also not required. That is done. Down, you can see copyright component. I'll remove this too. At the end, it's default. Sign up. Okay. All good. Okay. Now we just need the layout. I'll just copy the layout of the login one. That would be easier. Just copy the layout. Go to my sign up portion. Paste it here. Right. Once that is done, let's see if we already have the URL here. I just go to my application here. I will go to login and I'll do sign up. And you can see we are able to see the sign up page here, right? Right. This issue, for this, we can simply copy this thing. We can add this in here inside the page module and add this CSS also, or the style class also. I'll just copy this thing. Just copy this. Go here. This page, and just paste it here. Right? And that does the job. We just need to import the styles. Transform. Right. Once that is done, we should be able to see our sign up page and our sign in page. Now, as you can see here, we have some hyperlinks. So there also we can add the links to these things. So I'll just go down. Here you can see we have link, and inside the href we can have slash login. I think that should be working fine. Right, takes you to the login page, and similarly on the login page, you see you have a hyperlink here. I can do slash sign up, and that should take me to the sign up page. So once you have added the links or proper href links, so this is how the page should look up. You click here, it takes you to the sign page. You click here, it takes you to the sign up page. That's how it should be working. Now, since we are good with the designs on this thing, and the design for these sign up page and sign in page, I'll just leave in the description below, so you can copy from there once you are starting on with this tutorial. So now since we are good with the design, let's start with implementing the sign up and sign flow. So let's start with the sign up page here. I'll just go to my sign up page. Sign up page.tsx. So we'll be using React hook forms here. So I'll just install that thing first. Install form manage my save. So using this we'll be handling the form data here. Okay, so once we have this thing up and running, we'll be here. Just define const. Let's import our register and get values. We need to use the use form here. So let's start by dealing with use form. And from use form we can have register and get values. These are the two things we'll be using to deal with the form here. Register is for linking the form with some particular values or IDs. So I'll just go to each of the fields in the sign up portion and do attach the register portion there. Register first name, right? Now this is not required here because register will put a name on this thing. I'll just remove this thing here. I'll just copy this thing and I'll be adding it to all the other text fields. So here you see the name is last name. I'll just go add this thing and remove the name from all of these things. Email, we'll just add it here. Okay, now once we have we have password to here, so I'll just add it to password also. Right, right. This way we are able to control all these values. And once we have added all these things, I'll just mark this submit button as a normal button. Don't want to submit the form here. Instead we'll be using a click event handler. On sign up bt and click, you can define it above. And I'll just go above and define that thing. Once this thing, you can define the function. Once we have the function, this error goes away. So now once you click on this thing, once you're inside the button click method, we can get the values using const user get values. That should give you the submit form values. Let's check that first. Console.log user info user, right? Now if I enter the values here, I just open the console also. So minimize this. I'll just open the console. Here we have the console. Okay, let's clear it. Let's add a name, email, password, and a password. Once we have everything in, just click on the sign up method here. Okay, it gets submitted. I don't know why. Okay, it's not running. We just need to run this thing also, right? We do npm run dev. Where is npm run? Running. You just need to go to reload this thing again, which is sign up. If we're getting this method error, why we are getting? Okay, we are running this thing on server. This is the server code by default. In order to use form, we need to set it as client. You want to type in use client. That should solve your problem. This should solve the issue. You reload the page, you see here this. I'll just enter the values, clear this thing, type in a password, click on sign up. You should see the values here, right? These are the values that we're getting from our form. Now we need to save these values onto local storage. So I'll do one thing. I'll do local storage dot set item users, and we need an array of items, right? So we'll be using this as a small database for our users. We need to have an array here, right? So each time a new user is signed up, we need to save the data inside this users info. So first we need to get the values, right? Get item. That way we get the existing number of users, right? Users. If this isn't there, we'll simply return empty. Once users, right, that should be fine. And once you have a new user, we'll do once all users will be, let's destructure the users and then add in the user. So any, I'll just type in any, and that should resolve, right? All users. Once you have all the users, you can go to local storage, set item, type in users and set the all users here. That should update the users there, but it's showing some error there. Error parameter of type string. So we need to stringify this thing, right? We do a json.stringify, and then we need to add all the users here. So this will be storing the users as a list. Okay, so this will be storing the list of users as a JSON string. Now once you have this thing, so okay, so similarly once you get the data from here, we need to pass it out. This will be probably, just need to add a condition like if we have this data, if this thing, then json.pass this thing, that should give you a users list. If this thing is empty, okay, that should be good. That way you can get users. Now once you have the users, you can simply cut this thing, put it inside here, right? Now if this is not there, then we can be sure that this is the first case. That time we can simply do this thing. To make this, we'll simply do local storage.set users, and inside of all users we can simply use users, user value here, insert, right? That should, so this logic should be fine for storing the data, right? So I'll just go over this thing one more time. So once you click on the button, you get the values here in this user object. Now we simply just check if we have something called users in our local storage. If we have, what we do is we pass the existing data of the users list, pass the data, and then convert it to an object, right? Once you have the object, you just destructure it to convert into a list, and we combine the existing user, we combine the new user with the existing users list and create all users. Now once you have all the users in one object, or in like one array, not in an object, in one array, we just simply write it down to a local storage, right? Now if we don't have this thing, then we know that it's the first time and that we don't have any users or users local storage. We'll simply just put this thing in here, and this should be an array, by the way, right? Okay, this should be fine. Let's just see if it's working or not. For this, I'll just move this thing here. Okay, I added one, I clicked here, If you go to application, you can see we have something called users list here that has this data here, right? I just change this to some other data, Roy at Gmail, and sign up. You can see the next data also gets filled up here, right? Now we have two data here. Similarly, you can add a couple of more data here. So that should be fine. Now once we have this it's creating a new user in our local storage. Now once you have this data, we just show a notification on something to indicate that we have successfully saved the stuff. For that we can use maybe something from the material UI for showing a pop-up. I'll just go to the material UI site and see if we have something. Material UI React. Let's see material UI components. So here you can see alerts, which this is something we can use in our application. So I'll just go to the show code here. So you can see we have a React fragment here that we can use. So I'll just copy this thing. You can simply copy this thing, go to an application. Inside SRC, we can have something called components. By components, I can have alert. In the file folder called alert, inside we can have something called alert.tsx, alert.tsx. Inside alert.tsx, I'll just paste this thing, right? I'll just convert this thing to, I prefer arrow function, so I'll just convert this thing to alert dialog, right? Okay, that is fine. I'll just export that also. Export default alert dialog. Once you have this thing, you'll be requiring to open this thing dynamically, right? We're using it a couple of places, so I'll just do one thing. I'll just go to these properties. We can use this thing. If you go to sign up, I'll go to sign up, and this is a UI component, so I'll just name it UI component 2. This client, right? I'll go to my .6 file here. Inside, we can simply use the alert component. Inside a container, maybe. Yeah, inside a container we can use. I'll add alert dialog, right? Once you have this thing, we need to pass some value on this thing. So once we have success here, we'll have a variable called show dialog. Show dialog. We can use state here, right? That should be fine. This will be having a default value called false, and we'll pass that value here. Open show dialog, right? That should be fine. Inside our alert dialog, we can pass this as a prop. So show dialog, right? Based on the show dialog, we can set the values on this thing. Show dialog, right? Similarly, inside the open alert dialog, we don't require this thing, since we'll be going to trigger this thing, and the handle click open is also not required. You can remove this portion. Once you're inside, the handle close is required based on this. So now if you see here, it's not showing up here, right? And now once you have the data inside, you can see once you have submitted the form, you can set the value to true. Once this is done, you can say set show dialog to true. User created successfully, right? This message can show. Agree, disagree, two buttons we don't require. We'll simply do OK button. We need to add a use effect inside here. I'll just add a use effect. And whenever the value of, I just check the value of show dialog. Show dialog. Based on this thing, whenever it changes, set open show dialog, right? That should work. This is not open. That okay, the name is different. I'll just leave it to show dialog. Right. Okay, so once you have signed up, you're able to see the alert here, but it doesn't show the next time. You click on OK, you go sign up, it doesn't show up, right? So we need to also handle the closing of the alert thing here. So for that, you just need to go to this thing. Here we have handle close. Once you are closing the pop-up here, you also need to send a notification to the parent one, right? So we'll call close here, close call, and we'll also execute the close call from here. Go and reach the value on the parent, and inside we'll add something called close dialog. Okay, so which will reset the value to set show dialog to false, right? And here add that callback, right? This is close call here, right? Close call. The close call that need to be called from this thing is this one. Is the close dialog one. Okay, so once we are calling this function from this component, this also calls, once this is reset, it also calls the close call. The call goes here, and we are resetting our state from here also. Now let's save all this thing and try once again. You can see I just click on sign up. Okay, I'll just reload data once up. Here close call, I'll just verify inside this. From here it's once you click handle close, from here it goes to here, set open to false, the call goes to close call gives a call to this close dialog, and it sets to false, right? So let's see if it's hitting. I'll just add some data. Hitting the first time, it's also hitting the second time also, right? So it's getting reset. We can also change this message. Use Google, do something like user sign up. Okay, that's done. Now since sign up portion is implemented fine, we'll just take a look at how we can implement the sign in. So that we'll just go to the sign in page here. Now inside the sign in page, let's go inside the sign in page. I think this is not proper. I'll just make it proper. Now if you go inside the sign in page, from here layout sign up, we go to login page. I just close the rest of the pages and open this one. So okay, so here we have the sign in page, the login page. Here also we will be requiring the same stuff, evaluating a form. So I'll just go to my sign up form here. I'll just copy this stuff from here, which is this form stuff, and move it here. We can import this thing. right? And whatever values we had, we can use this similar to what we were using as sign up form. So I'll just copy this thing from here. Same thing can be utilized here on the email and the password field. Name would not be required. I'll just paste this thing, and email, the password, can name it password, and on the button we can make it as button type, add a click event. I'll sign in click. I'll define the method here. Once you have the method, this error should go up. Okay, fine. You will just take the values like const form values equal to get value. Right. Once you have the values, you can check it against our user's local storage. So if local storage dot get item, and we have a users list, then we can just pass the data, pass local storage dot get items. Our best way would be to move it to a variable. Storage users will be equal to local storage get users items, and if we have storage users, right, you can json.parse storage users. That should give you the array of users. Once you have the array, we'll just check if users and users dot length. So let's check user info. We just filter to the users list. Dot filter user, which will be object user email is equals to form value dot email, and user dot password equal to form value dot password. If this condition is satisfied, we can return the user, right? And that should be fine. With this, we should be able to see if our user is fine, if our user is found in the users list. If user info and user info dot length, user is signed in, right? Let's try this thing if it's okay. Okay. You also need to mark this thing as use client. Use client, that should make the error go away. In order to test this thing, you first need to valid proper user. I'll just go to my list here. I'll just go to application. I'll just clear the existing users list. Users, right? I'll delete this thing. I'll go to sign up. Let's create a user first once again. PDC. Rate 1 to 3. I'll just click on sign up. It says user created successfully. I'll click OK. I'll go to sign in. I'll enter the email and the password. So I click sign in. User is signed in, right? So that finds the user there. This way we can implement this thing. And one more thing, I think, if you go to the code once again, you can see it doesn't really look proper. We'll just try to streamline this code. So we can put it like this. Nested storage users, If not, we can return. We can throw some error like error user not found, user not found, and we can simply return from here, right? And else we can go to this case, right? I'll just cut this. Right, so this can be omitted out. Now to streamline this further, let's put it outside. Here, if not users or not users dot length, you can do the same thing again. Not found, return. That makes the code a bit more readable, I believe, right? Now, then we can move this condition outside, right? That way the nested if statement goes away, right? That makes it a bit more readable. And then we filter on this thing. Filter if this. So the users if user and user.length this else this return else we mention alert user not found, user not found, right? Now this code is a bit more readable compared to the nested if statements. So here you can simply say like if the storage user local storage is not found, then we simply say user not found. If we have the storage user and inside if we don't have any data, then also we say user not found. Readable, right? If otherwise, we just simply iterate the users list, try to get the user, and check if user and user.length, then we say user is signed in, return, else we say alert user not found, right? So I think that should be all for this tutorial. So in this, we simply try to create a sign page and a sign up page in Next.js 14 using local storage for saving the users list. And you can use this as a starting template for building your project on something. So do let me know your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. Thanks for watching.